So you know the phrase hearing voices, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's the ultimate movie shorthand for, this character's losing their mind.
Yeah.
Cue the dramatic violins.
Right. But the reality is, it's just so different from that trope.
It really is. We dug into data from the Cleveland Clinic, Psychology Today, and even some wild Reddit threads
And what did you find?
that somewhere between 5% and 15%, and some estimates go as high as 28% of the general population experiences this.
Which means this isn't a binary thing. It's not sane versus insane. It's a spectrum.
Exactly. We're talking about something that happens to healthy people, to famous geniuses, and, quite possibly to you listening right now.
And the why is fascinating. It really comes down to the brain being a prediction machine.
I love that analogy. It's constantly trying to guess what sensory input is coming next.
Spot on. So when that input is low, like you're super tired, stressed, in a really quiet room, the brain starts filling the silence.
It just starts guessing what it should be hearing.
And sometimes it just guesses wrong.
Yeah.
It's a misfire.
Which totally explains those hypnagogic hallucinations. That moment you're just dropping off to sleep and suddenly you hear a loud bang or...
Someone whispers your name.
Yes, and you jolt awake. It feels so real.
Up to 70% of people experience that. It's not madness, it's just a glitch as your brain is switching gears, usually just sleep deprivation or high stress.
Or grief. I was really moved by this term I found in the source material, bereavement hallucinations. We think hearing a deceased loved one's voice is a sign of a breakdown, but for a lot of people it's comforting.
It creates a sense of continuity. The brain is processing the loss by sort of maintaining the bond.
That idea of the brain creating voices for comfort extends to creativity too. There was that study about writers.
Oh yeah, where over half of them reported literally hearing their character speak.
Which brings us to the whole inner monologue debate. I went down a total rabbit hole on this.
Some people have totally silent minds.
And others have, like a whole Congress in session up there. But here's the kicker. Whether that voice is a critic or a cheerleader might actually depend on your culture.
That's the Tanya Luhrmann research. It's probably one of the most significant findings in this whole field.
The difference was so stark.
She found that the biological experience might be universal, but how we interpret it is, well, it's culturally constructed.
So in the U.S., participants often describe the voices as hostile, violent.
But in places like India or Ghana, the voices were often playful, helpful even.
Or spiritual guides.
Exactly. If your culture tells you it's a pathology, you experience it as a terrifying intrusion. If it's seen as ancestral guidance, it becomes a relationship.
Which helps explain all the high-functioning voice hearers throughout history, like Socrates with his daimonion that warned him of danger.
Right. Or Martin Luther King Jr., Winston Churchill, even Sigmund Freud. Anthony Hopkins has talked about it too. He mentioned the bicameral mind theory.
Oh, I love that concept. It's this wild idea that early humans didn't have an internal monologue like we do.
So when they had a thought, it wasn't, I should do this.
They heard it as an external command from a god or a king. It reframes the whole history of consciousness.
It really does. But before we get too abstract, sometimes the cause is purely mechanical.
Like musical ear syndrome.
Exactly, hearing phantom music because of hearing loss. Or in older adults, something as simple as a UTI can cause delirium. Biology always gets a vote.
So for anyone listening and wondering where the actual line is, it seems like the key isn't the presence of the voice.
No, it's the distress it causes. That's the differentiator.
If the voices are neutral or helpful, and you feel in control, it's generally not a clinical issue.
The red flags pop up when the voices become abusive, commanding, or cause a disconnect from reality. That's when you look at conditions like schizophrenia or PTSD.
And even the treatment is changing. It's not just about silencing the voice anymore.
No, therapies like CBT and ACT focus on changing your relationship with the voices.
You learn to manage your reaction to them.
You take the power back.
So, I guess the big takeaway is that hearing voices is a surprisingly common human experience. It's shaped as much by our culture as our biology.
And that leads to a pretty provocative thought.
It is.
If cultural expectations are the software that determines whether a voice is a demon or a guide, maybe we need to patch the code.
So if your internal narrator is being a jerk, ask yourself, is that really you, or is that just the script you've been given? Thanks for listening to this deep dive.